Telco as a platform. Network as a service.
Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're talking about a huge, kind of invisible revolution that's happening right now. It's all about the networks, the ones our phones run on, and how they're on the brink of unlocking an $80 billion wave of innovation. Yeah, you heard that right.
So, let me ask you something. What if your phone network wasn't just a boring utility for calls and texts? Imagine if it became a totally programmable computer, like wide open for anyone, any developer, to build on top of. Just think about that for a second, because that one idea, that's the key to this whole story.
You see, for as long as we've had mobile networks, they've been what you'd call closed pipes. The telecom companies own them, and they controlled everything. But that's all starting to change. There's this quiet revolution turning those closed, boring pipes into these dynamic, open platforms. And trust me, the ripple effects are going to be massive for, well, pretty much everything.
Okay, so why now? Why is this massive shift happening at this very moment? Well, before we get to the cool stuff, the solution, we've got to understand the problem. Let's dig into the incredible pressure these telco companies are under.
Yeah, a recent report from Ernst & Young really lays it all out. It's not a pretty picture. The big telecom companies, we'll call them telcos, are basically stuck in a perfect storm. They can't keep up with new tech, you've got smaller, faster companies just running circles around them, and their old business models, they're just not working anymore. To put it mildly, they are in some serious trouble.
And here's the crazy part. A lot of this is a self-inflicted wound. A whopping 75% of their own CEOs admit that their old, creaky, outdated tech is what's holding them back. It's like they're trying to compete in the Indy 500 with a horse and buggy. That legacy IT is just weighing them down. So while they're fighting their own internal tech battles, they've got this huge threat coming from the outside. Again, more than 3/4 of them are nervously looking over their shoulders at the big tech giants, the hyperscalers like Google, Amazon, Microsoft, who are starting to move in on their turf. So they're getting squeezed hard from the inside and the outside.
Okay, so the pressure is on. What do you do? Well, this is where it gets really interesting. The solution isn't just a small tweak, it's a complete change in how they think about the network. It's about making the network itself programmable.
And the magic key that unlocks all of this is something called an API. Now that stands for Application Programming Interface, which sounds super technical, I know. But this waiter analogy, it's perfect. Seriously. Just think of an API as a waiter. It connects you, or an app, to the kitchen, which is the network's power. The waiter takes your order, brings it to the kitchen, and brings back what you ask for. It's the go-between, the translator that lets different pieces of software talk to each other.
So how does a telco actually do this? How do they use these APIs to open up their network? Well, Wipro breaks it down into a pretty straightforward 3-step game plan. Step 1, figure out what cool network functions you're willing to share. This could be anything from location data to guaranteeing a super fast connection for, say, a gamer. Step 2, you map those functions to standard APIs. And step 3, the big one, you just open them up. You let developers from all over the world come and play in your sandbox. And just like that, you've got a roadmap from a dumb, closed pipe to a smart, open platform.
Okay, but wait, there's a potential problem here, a big one. If every single phone company, Verizon, AT&T, Vodafone, all create their own special set of APIs, it would be total chaos for developers, right? You'd have to rebuild your app for every single network. That's a nightmare. What we need is a universal standard, a common language.
And that is exactly where Camera comes in. Camera is this amazing global collaboration. You've got the telcos, the big tech companies, developers, everyone, working together to create one single universal language for these network APIs. It's basically the Rosetta Stone for telecom. It makes sure everyone is speaking the same language.
And this just lays it out perfectly. Before Camera, it was a mess, a total patchwork of different standards. Developers had to build the same thing over and over again for each network. But after Camera, it's a whole new world. Build once and deploy it everywhere. It's so much simpler, which means innovation can happen way, way faster.
All right, let's recap. We've got the problem, telcos are in a bind. We've got the solution, make the network programmable using a universal standard like Camera. So what's the payoff? Why go through all this trouble? Well, let's talk about the money, because there's a lot of it.
Get ready for this number.
According to Grandview Research, the market for this new model, they call it Network as a Service, or NOS, is forecast to be worth $81.82 billion by 2030. That's billion with a B. And NOS is a total game changer. It means telcos stop being just dumb pipes selling you a data plan. Instead, they're selling direct access to the raw power of their network.
And it's not just the size of the market that's staggering, it's the speed. We're talking a compound annual growth rate of almost 33%. Now, what does that actually mean? It means the market is expected to grow by a third every single year from now until 2030. That's not just growth, that is absolutely explosive.
And this chart really drives it home. Just look at this. Back in 2021, this whole thing was worth under $7 billion. By 2030, it's on track to be more than 12 times bigger. We are literally at the foot of a mountain here, looking up at a massive growth curve. So $81 billion is a huge number, but it's still a bit abstract, right? What does this actually look like? Well, to see the future of telecom, we can look at an industry that's already been through this exact same API revolution, banking. These case studies are super telling. So check this out. There's a bank in Indonesia called Permata Bank. Now, instead of begging people to download their app, they did something way smarter. They used APIs to embed their banking services right inside the other fintech apps that people were already using every day. So you could open a Permata Bank account without ever leaving your favorite budgeting app.
And the results were, frankly, insane. A 375% jump in new accounts. Just by meeting customers where they already are, they completely transform their growth. That, right there, is the power of thinking like a platform.
Okay, one more, this time from Germany. Commerzbank took it a step further. They didn't just use APIs, they turned their APIs into a core product. They built this whole catalog, like an app store, with over 150 powerful APIs that their business partners could plug into and use.
The impact? Massive. Their API usage exploded from 2 million to 11 million calls a month. But here is the real kicker. Big corporate clients started signing up with Commerzbank specifically because of their API catalog. It made them a better, easier partner to work with. Their APIs became a genuine competitive advantage. Now, just imagine a telco doing that. Game changer. So let's pull it all together. We've seen the pressure, the tech that solves it, the mind-boggling financial opportunity, and we've seen how it's already worked in another industry. So let's zoom out one last time and think about what this really means for the future.
The big takeaway here, the one thing to remember, is that the network is changing its very identity. It's moving from being a dumb utility, like your water pipes, to being a smart, dynamic, and open platform for innovation. It's becoming the foundation for the next wave of technology.
And that really leaves us with one final huge question to chew on. For years and years, we've only built things on top of the network. But what happens when the network itself is a creative tool? When it's a platform we can build with? What comes next? Honestly, I don't think anyone knows, and that's what makes this so exciting.